Hi everyone and welcome to Sports Watch. If you like the content, please press the bell icon for further notifications and like, share and subscribe to the channel. Ilia Topuria just knocked out Charles Oliveira in the main event of UFC 317 and he did so without even breaking a sweat. With that victory, Ilia Topuria is now a two-division champion, the quickest in history to do it. He wins the lightweight title, and even he will admit that it was one of his easiest title fights. There was always a possibility that this thing might happen because Topuria hits like a truck and Oliveira gets hit in every fight. He gets into these weird exchanges and hopes to prevail. That was the wrong option against a vicious striker like Ilia, but old habits die hard and Charles simply couldn't resist it. All through fight week, Ilia was really respectful, and in every interaction with Charles, he reminded him that it's already preordained that he will be the champ. He feels sorry that it will have to be against Charles Oliveira. And Oliveira was all too lovey-dovey about it. There wasn't any intensity or belief in his part that he was going to win. It all seemed like a formality for him. He was just happy to be there. And after watching the two of them fight, it was even more evident. Charles Oliveira had no game plan going into that fight. His so-called team at Shooter Box didn't come up with a good plan for Ilia and just fed him to the wolves. Charles had a 5 each reach advantage over Topuria. He was the longer fighter. He's supposed to use his reach to keep Ilia at bay and let him come closer to him. Instead, he was the one closing the distance, coming in Ilia's range right from the first bell and looking to get knocked out. It's called foolishness, not using your natural advantages and playing into your opponent's hands. He landed a couple of good leg kicks on Topuria and tried to land some deep kicks to the body. That should have been the game plan. Stay on the outside, pepper the body and legs, take away the base, let him come to you. But Charles couldn't help himself. In the first exchange, Ilia landed a short left hook that busted Oliveira up. He then level changed and tried to take Ilia Topuria down. However, in the clinch, Topuria was extremely strong, and Charles isn't the strongest in terms of wrestling. When he is against wrestlers who are stronger than him, he usually gives up in fights. The moment he couldn't do anything to Ilia in the clinch, he basically panicked and gave up. Ilia reversed him and took him down. The myth of Charles Oliveira being this great jiu-jitsu black belt was once again exposed. Ilia had no problem in the ground with him. He just had his way with him. Charles lay on his back, and by the time he had already mentally checked out of the fight, he knew that he had nothing for Topuria, and it was only the first round. So he got up and decided to engage with him. The finishing sequence just showed what a good boxer Ilia is and how he read Topuria, how he read Oliveira like a book. Ilia hit Charles with a stiff jab. Charles covered up, and instead of jabbing back or taking a step backwards, he decides to land his own straight right hand. Ilia anticipates this, and after landing the jab, takes one step back and lands a vicious overhand right straight in between Oliveira's guard. The left hook followed, but Charles was knocked out even before his head touched the ground. It was a spectacular knockout. Ilia Topuria just made history, and he is the biggest upcoming star in the UFC right now. His technique is next level, and fighters can't keep up with him. But even he will admit that out of Volk, Max, and Charles, this was his easiest victory. And at 35, after having gone through multiple wars, Charles Oliveira isn't the same fighter. But Ilia Topuria deserves all the credit he gets. He manifested this. That fight with Islam Makhachev just got a whole lot bigger. And if Makhachev wins his next fight, then both of them can fight for the pound for pound best fighter in the world. Ilia Topuria can also fight for a third belt. Still, think the best way to beat Topuria is to take him down and sap his gas tank. No one has done that till now, and Ilia has chosen his fights wisely. All his opponents are strikers. Even after his win, he doesn't call out someone like Arman Sarukian, who is a great grappler, and poses a serious threat to Topuria. Instead, he calls out Paddy Pimblett, another fighter who likes to strike. He isn't the best striker, and Ilia knows his style matches perfectly with Paddy. Paddy has been hurt multiple times in his fights, mostly by left hooks. He hasn't been knocked out yet, but there's a first time for everything, and his grappling is defensive. Ilia Topuria won't grapple with him. He knows he has the advantage over him in striking. It's going to be a big fight between two hungry lions, but Ilia is the favorite by an absolute mile in that one. Even Dana White didn't look too thrilled that both of them faced off in the ring. He didn't approve of the idea of letting Paddy in the ring. So that fight between Ilia and Paddy might have to wait for some more time. It will be interesting to see who Topuria fights after this. Apart from Sarukian, there isn't anyone who will pose a threat to him. In the co-main event, Alexander Pantoja made light work of Kai Kara-France by submitting him via rear naked choke in the third round. They had fought 10 years back, and after all that time, the result still hasn't changed. Kai Kara-France has 11 losses on his record and is just an overhyped loser. He got finished by Brandon Moreno of a body shot, and he now loses again in a title fight. There isn't many challenges left for Pantoja at flyweight. He has beat everyone there is. Maybe he moves up and have a super fight with Merab Dvalishvili at 135 pounds. Pantoja, however, doesn't particularly seem keen in doing that. It will be interesting to see what path he goes down for his next fight, and if the UFC has something special lined in for him. At the present moment, Alexander Pantoja is undoubtedly head and shoulders above every fighter in that flyweight division. Let me know in the comment section what you feel, and if you like the content, please like, share and subscribe to the channel.